Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Okay, so today we are talking about how to get an A in Anatomy 1. Okay, so I took Anatomy last semester and I got an A in the lecture and an A in the lab, and I thought that I could make a video to possibly help somebody else get an A in the class too, because it's really important if you're going into nursing. You want to have good grades in your anatomy class. I've heard of people who failed anatomy and still got into nursing school, but I mean, if you can get an A in anatomy, it's just going to look a lot better on that nursing application, and it's going to just make you feel a lot better going into the nursing program and feeling like you're prepared and you have a good base to start your foundation of becoming a nurse. So this was my book, Seeley's Anatomy and Physiology. I really like this book. I really like the way that they word things. This is actually going to be the same book. I'll use this for A&P 2 as well. I take that next semester, which is fall of 2018. I'll start that in August. So yeah, and I'll be finishing the second half, which you can see I've already done the first half of the book, and we'll pick up on the special senses on chapter 15 when I go back in. But I have already done all of this. I've done the integumentary system, the skeletal system, the muscular system, the nervous system. I think we stopped at the nervous system. So I've learned all of those, and I got really good grades. And so I wanted to just give some tips on how to make good grades in anatomy. So number one, go to class. Do not miss class. You want to get all the information that is in this book. You want to get that not only from reading it, but also the way that your professor deciphers it to you. Because a lot of this stuff can be really confusing, and your professor, they can usually clear it up, or you can ask them questions, or they have some weird analogy that helps you understand it, or whatever, So go to class. Biggest thing. Okay. Once you go to class, you read your chapter, go to class, you got a pretty good base. Now you have to retain all this information and be able to be tested on it and explain it to somebody else. So what I say is read the chapters, go to class, ask questions. Okay. After that, I only read my chapters one time. That was it. I would go back through and I would make flashcards. I'm going to show you my flashcards. I'm Ziploc bag, kind of ghetto, whatever. But anyways, so this, tons of flashcards, and I have like the definition of anatomy, the definition of physiology, the levels of organization in the human body. Let's get out of this one and go to like, your connective tissue. You have the rules of nines, which is, if somebody's burnt, how to determine how much percentage of their body is burned. You would use the rule of nines. And then, burns, and I colored it, got kind of fancy with it. So I definitely say flashcards. I'm a flashcard kind of girl. I love them. They are a lifesaver. Okay, so not only do we have that, then we also have, here's my notebook. So in my notebook, I have, this is blank, but study guide, going through and just, what is important? What did he talk on? What did he say? What did he say was important? What did he say was on the test? What are these types of characteristics? What type of characteristics are these tissues? Or do these tissues lead off? That reads kind of weird. But anyways, so yeah, just all kinds of stuff like that. And then not just that, I printed out my quizzes. Okay. So my quizzes, every week we had a quiz for a chapter, and I would print them out and I would save them. So that way I could go through and I could read to see this is the type of questions that, will be on the test and stuff like that. So I kept all of my quizzes. That way I could just, pick up my quiz and go through it real quick, and you know, just have that to refresh the things that we were learning. And then also, one second. I don't know if all professors do this, but my professor gave us access to his PowerPoints, so I went ahead and I printed out the PowerPoints and I turned it into, see if you can see this, focus, into a binder. I did it at Kinko's. It was like $200. It was really expensive, but worth every penny because it saved my ass in class. But yeah, so then when I would go to class, I wouldn't even bring my book. I wouldn't even write on anything. I would bring this. And then that way I could follow along with his lectures and look at my PowerPoint right to, you know, around something that he, like, right here, you know. He said something about that, so I wrote the answer. I don't know if it's the answer, but what he said about that, I would write it by it. So I had all of his PowerPoints, you know, on hand. So I could just read them over and over. I could, you know, write little information as we were going through. Let's get out of the cellular chemistry part and let's find the skeletal system. Okay. So then, you know, like I would just have like the lumbar vertebrae, 7, 12, 5, 1, and 1. The reason I have that on top of the lumbar vertebrae is because when you're learning about the vertebrae, you learn that there's different vertebrae, your cervical, your thoracic, your lumbar, and your sacrum. So all those different types of vertebrae have different numbers of little vertebrae in them. So you have to know the numbers of how many vertebrae are in each section of the vertebrae. It's a lot saying vertebrae. But so yeah, so I would just take notes along with, you know, my PowerPoints. And I mean, it was expensive, but I mean, this was just a lifesaver, and it was so great to study, so great helping me make flashcards. I love this. And I made it it was either Kinko's or a FedEx office. I'm not really sure. But anyways, it was big help. I loved it. And not only did I do this, I also had these guys. So I made my own flashcards, but then I also had the flashcards that, like, you got from, I bought these from my bookstore at my school, but it just like has, like, you know, all of the systems in it. So you can go through and you can actually see what it is that you were talking about. And not just that, he gave us access to our PowerPoint. So I had this that I brought to class to write down what he was talking about along with the PowerPoint. But I also downloaded Dropbox on my phone because that's where he sent us the PowerPoints through. And every night before bed, I would just read all the PowerPoints. And I know that probably sounds so ridiculous, but I really did. Every night I would lay down, I'd be in bed with my husband, and he'd be playing video games or watching TV or something, and I would just scroll through my smartphones on my phone like you're looking at Facebook or something, and I would just read the PowerPoints over and over. I mean, it was to the point where, let's see, I have my Dropbox right there. It was to the point where I could literally recite it to you. Like, it was crazy. But, you know, it really helped me. Let's see if I can show you lectures. Okay, see, like, there is a section that has all the lectures. So I would just click on it. Okay, it's loading, 1 second. And then I would go through, and every night I would just read the PowerPoint. And as the weeks go on, you have more PowerPoints to read. So by my midterm, I was reading 9 chapters every single night before bed. And, you know, a lot of people said it was overkill, but, you know, I got a 99.5 on my midterm. So I don't feel that it was overkill. I felt that it was exactly what I needed to do to get that A, because that A was very important to me in my anatomy class, not only for the A, but also for me really understanding this information. So when I get into like fundamentals of nursing or something, I have a good base to really build off of, you know? So that's lecture, and that was a lot. But then for anatomy lab, my school is like animal friendly. I live in the Florida Keys. We're really big on the environment and stuff like that. So we don't do any hands-on labs. Everything that we do is online with anatomy and physiology revealed. And it's a website, and these people donated their bodies to science, and they peeled them back piece by piece, and and that's how you do it. So you're dissecting online, but you're doing it with a real human body. You're not working with like a sheep brain or a cow's brain or a frog or a cat or something. You're working with real human body parts, and you're getting to see them. You're not getting to touch them, but it's online. And I loved it. I thought it was stupid at first. I thought it was the dumbest thing ever, but I loved it. And a lot of the stuff this is the book, so it's black and white, but online it's colored and you can see really good. But this really helped to reinforce the information in my brain. See, like, look, this is the rectus abdominis and the iliacus muscle and your deltoid, trapezoid. So it's all the stuff that you're learning about. Now you're actually working with it and applying that information just online. And I really liked it. It was great. It really helps me. So I recommend, even if you don't have to, it's not required. I mean, the workbook was like $50. Yeti life. Workbook was like $50, and I think the access code was like $50 too. But it was really great because you could go on there whenever you would be looking at. There's a pronunciation button, so like if you don't know what the word is, you can listen to it over and over and over again and ask you questions about it. It gives you all the information about it. It was just really, really, really helpful. So my advice is to read those chapters, do flashcards, read it over and over and over again. I didn't read the chapter over and over again. I read my PowerPoints that were provided to me by my professor, but just read it over and over and over. Repetition, 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 like my professor said. I say repetition all the time because that's what my anatomy professor, he's always like, repetition, repetition. He's like this old veterinarian guy, and he's just so cool. But anyway, so get that stuff in there. No, it's hard, but no one said college was easy, But that's what I did. So I hope that this helps you guys. If you have any more questions, feel free to let me know. If you want me to go more in depth with something, or maybe like a certain system, that's fine. I know we were required to learn all of the cranial nerves for my Anatomy 1 class. I may do a video on that in the future. But yeah, and with all of that, I got an A. I almost got 100% in the class. I think I got like a 98 or something like that. So everything that I did, it worked for me. So hopefully it works for you too. I will be making another video soon because I am about to take the TEAS test. Yes, I am taking it in a month because I'm about to apply to nursing school. I only have 2 classes left that I'll be taking next semester, and then hopefully fall, January 2019, I will be officially a nursing student and out of pre-nursing. So soon I will be making a video on the TEAS struggle. So hopefully you guys will be around to see that. Anyways, I appreciate you watching my video. Make sure to hit the subscribe button below, and also if you have any questions, feel free to email me, comment below. I have an Instagram. I believe it's linked to my YouTube. If not, I'll link it, but I'm always posting on there, a day in the life type thing. So yeah, you can always follow me on there. I think that's it, that's what I did, and it got me an A, so I hope that it works for you too. I don't think that there's any easy way to, get through this, but it just takes a little bit of work and dedication. Alright guys, have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video.